Welcome to Minor League Mondays, a Cincinnati Reds minor league podcast. We are coming to you because our guy that won the Hit Machines giveaway did not respond, so we redid the drawing. Thanks again to Hit Machine for giving up a Nabel Mariano card for a giveaway that we wanted to reward one of our followers that liked that post way back when, and a month ago or so, but we did not hear back from the guy who won originally. So we are going to run another drawing. And Ricky, if you're ready, we can run the drawing and the winner is Luke Bayer. All right, Luke Bayer at Luke Bayer 6. We'll be reaching out to you again. The Hit Machine will also reach out to you. He'll set up all the logistics on getting the card to you. But congrats to you. Thanks, Ricky, for doing that again. Hopefully this time we got a winner and a guy that hopefully will respond maybe. But yeah, we really appreciate everyone that participated in that. Before that, we will then now launch into our regular programming. Let's start the show.
Go.
Yeah.
With the second pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Chase Burns.
Is hammered down the left field line and way gone. A solo home run for Alfredo Duno. Collier swats one into left field, testing the line. That is down a base hit. Rogers is coming around third. He will score. To replace him at second is Cam Collier with a stand-up double.
Find it short, up in the air. Arroyo steals a base hit.
The swing and a fly ball down the left field line, hooking toward the corner. It is a fair ball, and it is gone. Home run, Reese Hines.
Make it two! Duno jumps on the first pitch and lines it to right. Move crosses the plate, and the Tortugas will not say die tonight.
Lewis takes inside, throw to second, is on a hop, and it is not in time. And there is stolen base number 50 for Kyle Henley.
There's a swing and a fly ball into center. Dunn going back on the warning track, leaps to the wall, makes the catch. Dunn hauled it in. Ball game over.
Swing, here's a well-hit ball to right field. Moving back to the wall, Campbell, that ball is gone! This game is tied!
That's airborne into the gap, into right field, diving forward, and making the catch is Hendrick.
Ian Fu with a skyscraping blast out to right. Daytona is on the board.
There's a swing and a fly ball to left. Rodriguez turns around. It's gone just over the wall into the seats. Home run, Sal Stewart. Kind of a high liner. It got out of here in a hurry. Fly ball center field. Jorge there. And it is caught. Campanon cut in front and caught the ball. Put this game in the win column. Put this winning streak at 14. It's a new club record.
Righty sends. Hendrick signs. Drives it out into right field. That's going to be the ball game. Look out, Clear. Look out, Clear. Hendrick comes through. What a play. What a bat for Hendrick, the fans, and the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Welcome to Minor League Mondays, a Cincinnati Reds minor league podcast hosted by myself, Roger Strauss, and Reds.SI writer Ricky Logan. We are here to talk about Cincinnati Reds minor league affiliates and that call, Ricky, at the end for Mr. Austin Hendrick. You might have to update it because I hear that he had a home run, his first big league home or his first Triple-A home run for the Louisville Bats, and cleared the stanchion, the what do you call it?
Cleared the scoreboard. Okay,
Scoreboard. That's it.
See that thing a mile.
Crazy stuff. So yeah, with that in mind, how's your week been?
Well, after that, it was pretty great. Just I had a bunch of people text me about it. It's noted. I'm a massive Austin Hendrick fan. And, it's just, he's probably the first prospect that I really kind of followed that I was just super excited about. And just, he seems like a really good dude outside of everything else from everything we've heard, from talking to Trevor Kunsel on here and other people around. Just, I'm happy to see him having some success and getting rewarded for that success also. So it's awesome.
For sure. And it's great that he's having success already so early on because he's going to get a lot of playing time there, we hope, and he's a step away from the majors. Not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but, things happen. Injuries happen. His performance has been pretty good this year overall, it's not like this was a promotion just to keep him moving along in the system. He earned getting the call up to Triple-A, and it was great to see. So it was great to see that home run as well, especially because you said he hit it a mile, and he got all that, which was great to see. But, before we get into all the Reds affiliates, we want to shout out our sponsors, Frostbuddy, frostbuddy.com/RedHotReds. We got this new promotion that they got going on, a collection, Father's Day collection with Coca-Cola, best pop ever, and Diet Coke Daddy and all that good stuff, and have all the different sizes, all the way from the small sizes up to XL. So check those out. Shop now, the new arrivals at the store. We also got all sorts of different Major League Baseball insignias of all the teams. The Reds have the City Connect 1.0 on there, and also it looks like a Dad's Father's Day Reds Cup, so that's great to see. Go check yours out today at frostbuddy.com/RedHotReds.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Universal Buddy here. I got this one here. I'll show it here in a second, but kind of give you a little rundown of what they do. They're cold drinks up to 12 hours plus, keep your drinks hot for 6 hours plus. It holds 16 ounces of fluid also, in case you like to use their 100% leak-proof lid. That way you can make it into a tumbler. But to give you a little rundown of what they can hold, they hold your 12-ounce cans, which is like your standard beer can, pop can, 12-ounce slim cans, so like your Red Bulls, your White Claws, stuff like that. They hold your 12-ounce stubby bottles, like a Coors bottle. The Smirnoff Ice bottles, 16-ounce cans, like a Monster Energy, 16-ounce bottles, sparkling ice bottles. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but those are like the really tall, skinny bottles that they're really awkward. But they hold those, and I have mine here. Universal. I got my Pepsi in here, so it keeps my drink cold the entire show, and then some if I don't finish it off. But and I think, I'm not sure about Great American Ballpark, but some ballparks let you take them in. I've seen some posts on their Facebook group that I'm a part of, and they had some going into like Busch Stadium. I think as long as you take it in empty and you just have like just the koozie and the lid and there's nothing in it, I think you're allowed to take it in. Maybe call the ballpark ahead of time just to see, so you don't worry about going all the way back to your car to return it. But I think you'll be fine. But yeah, they're great. And scan the QR code or go to the website below. It's on the overlay the entire show. So really, really grateful for them for jumping aboard and just taking a chance on a small little show like us to help give them exposure and expose us too.
Yeah, absolutely. You got so many options out there. Check them all out. Father's Day collection as well. Check them out. It's great stuff. Also want to shout out, search our stuff, YouTube, X, Instagram, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. So that way, when we have new videos and what have you come out. We just had a video interview, prospects to know, Jacob Friend. So check that out. Great interview with him, telling us about his early success and how he's gotten it made some adjustments to allow for that success at low A Daytona, and has really been killing it. Even had a home run just yesterday, first pitch off, first at bat, first pitch, leadoff home run, just doing his thing, which is great to see.
We'll talk about this later in the show when we get towards the prospects of the week, but I think there's going to be some roster moves happening on Monday, so keep an eye out for that also.
And we've got some roster moves to talk about just today as well, but we'll get to that in a second. And we also want to shout out All Gloves Off, the podcast network we're a part of. And we just added Cheap Pop Society and Fanboys Unleashed. We're really grateful for all the stuff that Mike and Cheese and all those guys do behind the scene. Also, Sirhan, All Era Sirhan, is with us as well. Check out all their stuff. They have a bunch of podcasts coming out. Mike on Tuesday nights after our show. Tuesday nights, Lights Out podcast with Mike and Cheese. And then all the other guys, they go live every almost every other day and whatnot. But yeah, check them out. We also have a giveaway. We mentioned it on last night's show. It's for the Reds, the Major League team, ticket giveaway on the 24th for the Eugenio bobblehead. Check that out right there. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, take a screenshot of it. If you're not subscribed, please do and screenshot that. Send it to our X, send it to our Facebook, send it to Instagram, where you can send direct messages to Ricky and all that. Whoever is subscribed to that will have a chance to win 2 tickets to this bobblehead on Wednesday, June 24th for Eugenio. As you can see, the City Connect 1.0 jerseys out there presented by Kroger. I just noticed that. I didn't notice that last time. So that's shout out Kroger, Cincinnati company. But yeah, subscribe, send us your screenshot, and we really appreciate it. We'll forward you those tickets. You'll have to have, I believe, I forgot to mention this last time, you have to have a MLB account, ballpark app, I believe. So that way I can forward you the tickets. They'll be digital, not physical tickets. 2026, there's no more physical tickets anymore anywhere for the most part. So make sure you have that so that way I can forward you the tickets and you can go to the game on Wednesday, June 24th.
Yeah, so we'll have the post pinned to our X page. It'll be I think you can pin post on Facebook also. You can reply with the picture on the post. That'd be the easiest way to go about it. Just post your screenshot in the comments, and then we'll sift through them. I'll find a website to get a random generated winner, or I'll just go through and enter them all in like a spin a wheel thing or something, and we'll figure that out when time comes. But yeah, really looking forward to this giveaway because it's a good game to go to. Milwaukee's been really good here the last few years, and they've owned us. So get a chance to get another Reds fan out there and help cheer on our Red Legs to go get a win and get a bobblehead.
For sure. And usually those midsummer bobblehead nights, even on Wednesday, are pretty hopping games. So you got to make sure you get to the ballpark fairly early, so that way you get in line with all the rest of the Cincinnati faithful and what have you, or all the other, I guess, bobblehead aficionados. But yeah, check that out. We will be giving that away about a couple weeks before the game, so about mid-June.
I think June 15th will be the Monday before. That'll give them a full week and 3 days to prepare. That'll be our minor league Monday for that day. So June 15th, I think, will be the day we wrap that up.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. We will now launch into the Reds. Some news of notice. We talked about the Austin Hendrick promotion. That was a big one for transactions, but also another transaction that happened this week was Reese Hines got traded to the Miami Marlins organization. He got optioned down to their Triple-A team, but we ended up getting a pitcher of somewhat, you can't have enough good pitching. Zach McCambly, I believe, is now a Cincinnati Red, and he got optioned down to Triple-A Louisville, I believe. He is a 26-year-old that has not made his major league debut, I believe. But the biggest story is that Reese Hines, his story in Cincinnati is no longer. He's going to have a new chapter to write as a potential Miami Marlin, maybe sooner than later. And he is no longer going to wear Cincinnati Reds jersey. He'll have to, I guess, have some revenge games if he ever has the chance against the Cincinnati Reds. But what were your thoughts, Ricky, when you heard the news that we traded Reese Hines?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of bummed. I made a post about it. I got a lot of backlash in the comments saying, "Oh, he got his fair shake. He got his fair shake. How many times is enough?" And I don't think 122 at bats over 3 years is a fair shake. I mean, if you said 122 at bats in a season, maybe sure, yeah. But over 3 years, 122 at bats, I don't think it's a fair shake. Or like a legit, or as I said on the post, a legit chance. And, it is what it is. I wish him nothing but the best in Miami. And, I kind of hope he does have a revenge game against us, because we can't keep trading away guys that we were super high on and not expect one of them to hurt us. Like CES has the potential to hit 40 home runs in a season. And, we gave him up for cash considerations when I think if maybe you weren't sure about it last year, maybe you trade him last year and you can probably get a decent lower level prospect back. And maybe with Hines, you probably could have traded him during the offseason and maybe get a better, I don't want to say haul, but a better return for him. And I'm not trying to throw shade at McCambly. He was a Rule 5 pickup last year from Philadelphia. He got returned. He never made his debut. And the Phillies director of professional scouting, Mike Ondo, had this to say about him. He's really, really tough on right-handed hitters. And I think that was one of the big appeals for us, to have a guy that can come in. He's got a starter background. He's been in the bullpen. He's just someone who has the versatility to log some innings, pitch short, whatever the staff might need him to do. But to really kind of get in there and have him on a pocket of right-handed hitters, I think is what we really hope is where some big-time value is. And I'm not sure how he pans out or what happens with that, but he's not on the 40-man because he was returned. So he's technically, that frees up the 40-man spot for that trade. I don't know what they do with that. Let's see how he does in Triple-A once he gets settled in and comes over here. I don't think he's pitched yet, right? Because he came in on Wednesday. I don't think he's made an appearance yet for Louisville. But I kind of hope. I think we should all hope he comes in and tears it up and then gets called up, and we could say we won the trade. But his career 4.12 ERA, 18-23 record. Let's see what he does, and it can't be worse than having Reese Hines rot away in Triple-A and go out and win team MVP last year with the 2020 season. And we'll see how he does in Miami. I think he's on their Triple-A team currently at the moment. I think you said yesterday's show he's hitting leadoff. So let's see how that goes. And like I said, wishing him nothing but the best in his future. Same with CES. Same with him. I want to see him succeed. Anybody that's, was a part of this core we had coming up in 23 and 24. And, it's sad that we're seeing this core kind of dwindle away so soon.
Yeah, it's difficult because we know that Reese Hines can play. It doesn't seem like he got the amount of playing time that you'd hope out of a guy that, like you said, was International League 2025 MVP 2020 season for your Louisville Bats last year. So he has enough experience in the minors that I think it'll be sooner than later that you'll see him and the Miami Marlins. The Marlins are a team that, they probably can take a chance on this type of guy and maybe live with the strikeouts, live with the streakiness at times, because they're in a really tough division with the Phillies and the really, really outstanding Atlanta Braves. So they're kind of just hoping maybe to get some guys like Reese Hines who, low risk, high reward, or just take a flyer type of situation. And maybe that gives them enough wins to compete in the wild card race, because that's where they're going to be kind of along with us at the moment. They're kind of fighting for that third wild card situation. At least I think that's what their goals are out there. So again, just to echo your comments, wish Reese the best. Hopefully he can be in the majors sooner than later and get a longer stint than, like you said, 122 at bats across 3 seasons. I mean, Ricky, you remember how many at bats Mr. Santiago Espinal got in 2025?
Too many.
301. And that is more than double than Reese Hines has gotten the last 3 years. So think about it that way. I mean, I understand there's some need in some areas and what have you, but like that puts it in perspective for me, is that sure, Reese got some chances, but not many. Not many.
Yeah, and I'll say this to put a bow on it. Hines is the kind of guy that if Miami finds himself within 2 to 3 games of a wild card in September, and he comes up and has a week like he had when he got called up to make his major league debut, he could put them over the edge to make the playoffs. I'm not saying he's going to be the reason I make the playoffs. I'm saying his streakiness that he can have if he can just not chase. And that's enough. That's enough. I just, he's the kind of guy that could just on a hot streak can like sort of similar to Will Benson last year against Cleveland. If he can come in for a week, put together a player of the week type week, and he could be a reason Miami can make the playoffs if they're in contention in September.
At the very least, it will allow us to have some side tangents to talk about the Miami Marlins from time to time.
We always find a way. We always find a way.
No other reason. All right. Enough about Reese Hines. Let's launch into the ACL Reds. ACL Reds had a very interesting week. They kind of killed it at times, and they lost a couple games. I believe they ended up the week 3-2. But they had a huge game on Tuesday, I believe. Also on Monday, they had a pretty decent day as well, where they had some outstanding performances. Like Steele Hall on Monday, the 18th, went 4 for 4 with a double, home run, 2 RBIs, and a stolen base, and a 10-3 win. But the next day, Tuesday, they scored 30, just killing it. I think they had 15 in one inning, the second inning or something like that. Yeah. Just killing it down there, which, it's great because you stat pad, get these guys' numbers up. You get some guys that haven't played that much, maybe some more time. Like it's kind of great. Nabel Mariano had a great day on Tuesday. And I don't know where to go with this ACL Reds because we know that they have talent. Maybe it's a consistency thing for many of them. But is it going to be pretty soon we're going to be talking about guys that are going to be in Daytona for this ACL Reds? Or are we just going to have to wait and see?
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 guys right now that I could say could play on Daytona right now. It's Hervin Murillo, Steele Hall, and Aaron Watson. And Juan Brown's not far behind on that list. And Brown had a pretty big week. Murillo's just been crazy consistent hitting. Steele Hall, like you said, on Monday goes 4 for 4, a home run. 282 average, 1.092 OPS after Monday. Eli Pitts made his debut on Monday. He hit the double in his first at bat. Looked really good. But Ty Floyd too. He came in and made his second rehab start. 4 innings, 3 hits, a run, 8 strikeouts over 4 innings. Didn't walk anybody. Did allow a home run, but I'm so happy for him to see him back, just for his confidence. And we know the kind of pitcher he can be. He was the number 2 on that LSU team with Paul Skeens. He was just technically a first-round pick in the competitive balance round. And then Aaron Watson goes 4 2/3, following him up. 5 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, and allowed a home run also. His ERA is a 2.13. And the Reds are really slow with pitchers and their first-round picks for some reason. But, I mean, just based off Watson's performance in the prospect spring breakout game, looks ready. I think he could go to the low A right now and have success. And same with Steele Hall. Hervin Murillo, I mean, they're going to have to call some catchers up, which is why we're going to talk about some roster moves later for this week. I think it's time to bring Jacob Friend up so you can bring up Hervin Murillo, because I think it's time. He's hitting over 400 still. Like he's so good. That Monday game, and then Tuesday, like you said, they go out and they win 30-4.
Yeah.
I'll pull up the play-by-play. There was a lot of walks in that game for the Athletics. They had their starter went 2 2/3, walked 4, did strike out 3, gives up 4 runs. Their second reliever, he walked. Their third reliever goes a third of an inning, 5 walks. Their next reliever follows him with 3 walks. this is like a Reds game here. Every pitcher had at least a walk, and then every one but two had two or more. Two of them had four or more walks. So a lot of wild pitches too. It looked like a DSL game out there for a little while. But Steele Hall goes 1 for 4. Adolfo Sanchez goes 2 for 4 with 5 runs scored. Hervin Murillo goes 2 for 4. Juan Brown 2 for 4, hits a home run. Nebo Mariano, like you said, 4 for 6. Harrison goes 3 for 4. Jalen Harrison goes 3 for 4. Booten goes 2 for 7. So he didn't walk, but he had technically a lot of plate appearances, so good for him. And Soriano hits a home run too. That's a second home run of the season. I was a huge game. They scored 15 in the fourth and 5 more in the fifth. So big outing, 20 hits. But they also had 4 errors for the Reds on that game too. So I didn't even look at the pitching stats on that game. Who pitched for the Reds, because it was such a big offensive outpouring. Dottie Aguilera, 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks. Good outing from him. I think we've kind of highlighted him on the ACL preview that we were kind of excited about him. Had a really good season in the DSL last year. His career ERA is 2.33 in 115 innings. So a career less than 1 WHIP at 0.99. Okay. He's still really young. He turned 19 in September. So young guy, looked really good. The ACL is fun to watch. I'm really excited to see Eli Pitts back out there. Pablo Nunez should be back on the team this coming week. I'm assuming. He was listed as a bench player here recently, so hopefully he gets some playing time and can showcase the player that he is, because we're all really excited about him and finally getting to see him stateside. And anything else you got? Because I know you.
That's where I wanted to go, is the guys that we aren't talking about really. Pablo's one of them. Hansel Jimenez has not played much in the ACL so far, so I don't know if there's something going on with him. I know Steele Hall has been playing a lot of shortstop, but we know that Hansel has flexibility to play second, short, or third, depending on the situation. Also, another guy that big friend of the show, Moises Castillo. He made his first appearance on Saturday, I believe, or Friday. His birthday was Saturday. He made his first appearance Friday, the day before his birthday. He only went 1 inning and gave up 3 runs, so a bit rough start. So those are the kind of things I'm kind of interested in. Juan Brown's been a standout and been playing a lot, which is great to see. A guy like Steele Hall has been consistently getting better every single time he's gone out there. And Donnie Aguilera has also been really consistently pitching well. Iker Radona has been a little bit up and down. We haven't really talked about him much on this podcast, on this show. So if he can start kind of figure it out, I think he's only like 18, going to be turning 19 this year. So
he's so young.
He's still got some time, obviously, but it'd be good to see if he can string some consistent performances back to back to back. But yeah, for the most part, a bunch of these guys with this. I mean, Adolfo Sanchez, we haven't talked about him as well. On Friday, 4 for 6 with a double, triple, and 2 runs. So there have been some really outstanding performances from this week. I mean, Hervin Murillo has been on fire since the start of the ACL season. And we, profiled him in the ACL preview, saying that he's more known for his bat than maybe his defense. So that may be a reason why he might not be in Daytona as of yet. He might need to still work on some defensive things before he gets called up to affiliate ball. But other than that, there's been lots of positives coming out of this ACL Reds so far this young ACL season.
Yeah, Adolfo Sanchez had a really rough start to the season, and he's up to a 250 average. He was under 2 for a while. He's up at 250 average, 802 OPS. And then the last guy I kind of wanted to talk about was Rajateri Marite. Goes 4 innings on Saturday, 5 hits, 11 strikeouts in 4 innings. Just absolute domination from him. Good for him too, because he kind of got some TV time pitching in the World Baseball Classic, which was cool to see. He was one of the younger guys, I think, internationally, really.
Yeah.
He's still fairly young. I think he's, 19, maybe 20? He's 20.
21.
He turns 21 in December. So just turned – he was 19 when he was playing in the World Baseball Classic. So super young. Good for him. Glad to see him having some success. And, he could be another option that could be a Daytona guy once they move some guys up. And, the leagues end here in about a month in June, I think, is when the first half of the seasons end and they start bringing some guys up. And so good for him also having a really dominant outing with 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's got electric stuff, and he's a left-hander at a little bit of a arm angle slot different than a lot of different lefties. But they also have such a short season that it's difficult because a lot of these guys don't play every single day. They rotate in, so they're not getting a lot of time to shine. So they have to make the most of their opportunities. And I think a bunch of them have. But yeah, that was the one take that I think I stole from Carrick, is that the 50-game season or whatever they do for ACL needs to be a lot longer, because a lot of these guys are playing professional baseball in the United States for the first time ever. So like to play 50 games and maybe you get 30, 40 of them if you're like a Hervin Murillo. Like that's
I got a take. I just popped in my head. So what if the complex league isn't during the season and it's winter ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think they do that. They just don't have it. It's probably just like scrimmages, right? Like I feel like they probably just do that, and it's not with statistics.
And I get it. You want them to have an off season, but a lot of these guys play winter ball anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed. I mean, that'd be kind of different to have the ACL season be from, let's just say, they're going to play minor league baseball, so they're not worried about playing during the World Series or anything. So maybe you play them from November to February or January, and then they get that month or two off. And if they're good enough, they can go up to the low A, or maybe they have like the bridge league during the season. Just more or less saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, why not? I don't know that there probably is a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of teams that have their ACL. Teams kind of set up that way to be able to play probably all year round if they needed to. I mean, I think Jacob Friend said that even if the CBA for Major League Baseball is not figured out, he's going to be down there in spring training. So I think they're always working out down there, whether they're rehabbing or whether they're young guys trying to get work in front of the coaching staff and scouts and whatever, or the trainers and everything. So yeah, it could be. But yeah, they should play at least, 90. How about 90 games? Because they're not playing every day. They have Sundays off, and they have like random Wednesday and Thursdays off and all that. So they at most play 5 days a week. So I don't know. Probably somebody that gets paid more than us will probably figure
someone
it out.
a whole lot smarter than me came up with the reason why they play during the season.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a good question. Anything else on the ACL Reds before we move it on?
No, just good to see a massive offensive outbreak, and then really happy for Ty Floyd. Just really happy for him.
Yeah, and he's in Dayton, and we'll talk about him a little bit in the Dayton segment. But the Daytona Tortugas, they had a very Tortugas kind of week, 2-4, some close losses, some decent offensive performances from time to time. But, they're just kind of – I think they got like 17 or 18 wins on the season, something like that. So it's now we're going into month number 3 for them. So they're about a little bit more than halfway done, I want to say, or getting close to halfway done. But it's just kind of a lot of inconsistency, a lot of guys maybe starting to find their path and getting going. A guy like Drew Davies has brought up his batting average from like 180 to now. They were starting to bat him leadoff a couple games this week, and he was like 295, 300, around that range. So Drew Davies starting to figure it out, even getting the added confidence boost of putting him at the top of the lineup, a spot that usually Jacob Friend is at for the most part. But yeah, that was kind of one thing that stood out to me. I think Ty Doucette and Jacob Friend missed some games this week. They did have some decent pitching performances from a guy that you like, I think, is he top 15 still in the Reds? Sheng-In Lin. And we'll be talking about him. Mason
I think
Morris,
he's like the 11th ranked prospect. I think he's up there.
Yeah, Mason Morris had a pretty decent pitching performance on Wednesday, going 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Still in a loss, though. So it's like very Tortugas that have some good performances amongst kind of just, not performing too well. I was watching, I think, is it today? Today, Kyle Henley tried to go rob a home run, ran into the fence. So hopefully he's going to be okay. He left the game walking off under his own power, but kind of scary stuff to see him run into the fence and kind of get shaken up. They had to bring in somebody else to play center field after that. But what were your, main takeaways from the Daytona week?
Well, I'm looking forward to the day when Edgar Colon can limit the walks, because his stuff is so nasty. He goes 4 1/3 in a win, but he doesn't get credit for the win. Allows just 1 run, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, just 3 hits allowed. And you've had conversations with Matthew Mouncey about him just having elite stuff. He's going to be a really good pitcher in this organization going forward once he learns the command, which I don't think it's going to take him too long. I mean, he seems like a good pitcher, not just a thrower. It's just learning the strike zone, and he's still really young. What's he, 19, 20? Like, he's still really young. Looking forward to that. And then 2, I want to say Morris, Mason Morris. I like that they're using him as a starter, because he was kind of like a long reliever in college, and there was talks of whether he was either going to be a closer or a starter. And I kind of like that they're using him as a starter to get him. You can never have enough starting pitching, because you can always move the guys to the bullpen. It's easier to reel them in than it is to stretch them out, if that makes sense. But I'm really, really glad to see him have that outing that he had, I believe, on Wednesday, where he goes, like he said, 6 innings, just one walk. And then Tyson Lewis has been okay this week. He didn't really have any good standout performances, but he's starting to hit the ball a little better, being a little bit more consistent. I think he went 1 for 4 on Thursday. I think he went 1 for 4 again on Monday. He goes 2 for 3. So just good for him seeing that. And then Kyle Henley, hopefully he's okay, but he's just a stolen base machine. What he had 56 stolen bases last year.
Yeah,
he's up to almost, I think, 20 this year, maybe more than that.
Wow.
And Jacob Friend, talking about him being, the most athletic outfielder, about the most athletic prospect in all of minor league baseball, which is crazy. 113 stolen bases for his career. He's got 19 this year, so it's crazy. He's not like your Billy Hamilton either. He hits the ball for power too. So he's a really good player to keep an eye on. He's probably, I think, if he's healthy, he's going to be a Dayton guy here fairly soon too. So really happy for him to see some success out of him. And Jacob Friend didn't play a whole lot the first part of the week. I think he played on Tuesday, but missed a few games, comes back, hits a home run his first game back, first pitch of the game. So he's picking up right where he left off. He's still hitting over 300, still over 1,000 OPS. And then, I think I've talked about it every week. I really want to see Mason Neville pick it up. Really struggling this year. And I think another move too is they optioned down Arnaldo Antigua to the complex league. He's really struggled this year in low A. He's still really, I think he's 21, maybe 22, still really young. Get him down there, retool, work on his swing. But Mason Neville hit a home run on Sunday, so there you go. Yep. He goes 1 for 3. He's still 155 batting average. I'd like to see that get up just a little bit above 200 so I can start getting hyped about this kid because he led NCAA in home runs last year. And, he falls to the 4th round. I think we're seeing why he did. And I believe in the kid. I think he's got a ton of potential. I think his ceiling's a better version of Spencer Steer. And that's not a knock on him. Spencer Steer is a really good big leaguer, especially this year.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him start getting more consistent at bats, and then that I don't want to say it's not a bad thing to go back down to the ACL. I mean, we see it with big leaguers going back down to Triple-A. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, Will Benson kind of had a career revival going down to Triple-A in 23, and he was playing at a near all-star level the rest of the year. So if I think that Neville could be a guy that might benefit from some time back down in Arizona just to kind of get his confidence back too. Just see some pitching, hit the ball hard, and get back up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And on that note, like, they have been kind of inconsistent, a lot of these guys, and seeing Lantigua go down the ACL hopefully will get some more confidence on him, getting to the complex league, working with coaches probably on a daily basis, and not having the pressure of performing every single day for 6 days of the week. It's been kind of interesting to see that there has been a lot of guys struggling for Daytona, but there have been guys that have been picking it up. You know what I mean? Like, little by little, I think they're starting to figure it out. One guy that's kind of figured it out after having a bad start, I think last week, Devi Villafana had 5 innings on Sunday, 3 hits, 1 earned run, three walks, and 3 strikeouts. And another one of those close 2-1 losses that the Tortugas find themselves in when they don't have enough offense for the day. But Devi Villafana was another guy that we thought was really close to being a Dayton Dragon, and maybe still. He's still got high-end stuff, 98, 99 topping out with his fastball, and that, I mean, with his control, hopefully we'll be able to be a guy that will be in high A sooner than later. He's a top 30 prospect for the Reds as well, so they like him in their system. It's just a matter of, I think, maybe a couple more good starts out of him, and then maybe he'll be applying his trade in Dayton, Ohio. But yeah, anything else about Daytona?
No, just I'd like to see, like I said, more consistency out of these younger guys that we're really excited about, especially like Tyson Lewis. I want to see him have a couple breakout games and, really string some games together with multi-hits and some home runs, because he's got a ton of potential still. And I still believe in Mason Neville, 4th round pick. He's a good player. So I'm really hoping he can start to pick it up too.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on then to our Dayton Dragons. They are the kings of the splits. They again went 3 for 3. They just want to not win the series, not lose the series. They do enough to win at least 3 games every single week, which they have some pretty decent outings most time. Like on Tuesday or Wednesday, they scored 22 runs. It was another offensive output by one of the teams for the Reds organization, and had a bunch of guys just hitting left and right, killing it. Like Duno had 2 home runs that day. Carlos Sanchez had 2 home runs that day. So like it was just kind of just one of those crazy days like ACL Reds had the previous day where they went out and got 30 runs. But like, Dayton's also been plagued with some inconsistency in their pitching and their hitting, and they'll end up having a week where they have a guy that, Carlos Sanchez is hitting 335 on the season, but they still don't have enough offense to win a series 4-2 or even get a 5-1. So I don't know. There's lots of different ways we go with these Dayton Dragons. We got a guy like Kian Vu who's hitting 250, but he's been on base. He's an on base machine, like 35, I want to say, straight games of getting on base successfully. So they've got some interesting pieces there in Dayton. Julian Aguilar on Sunday just had a rehab start and pitched decently well, 3 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, no walks. He might be on his way back to Triple-A sooner than later, which the Reds would love to see, because I think they could also use him even at the big league level if he's ready. So there's that for the Dragons. And Jose Montero had a decent pitching performance on the Saturday. He was, I think, a Chattanooga lookout, and he got demoted down to Dayton. So I think hopefully this and a couple more starts for Jose Montero, he could possibly be back up in Chattanooga pitching again for the Lookouts. But overall, what were your takeaways from Dayton's week?
Yeah, I think it's time to promote Alfredo Duno and Carlos Sanchez to Double-A. I think they're both ready. Duno, like you said, had the 2 home run game in the 22-run outburst, and even the announcer for the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, he said it on the first home run. You think he's ready to hit big league pitching because he showed it right there. It was a big leaguer on a rehab assignment, I believe. Or if it wasn't a big leaguer, it was a minor leaguer, like Triple-A pitcher. I'll have to look back and make sure. Let's see. No, it wasn't a major leaguer. But still, either way, he's ready to see Double-A pitching. And Carlos Sanchez just continues to string multi-hit games together. He goes 4 for 5 in that 20-run outburst. He goes 4 for 5 another time this week, I think. Just crazy. He's hitting well over 300, 335, 5 home runs, 12 stolen bases, and 961 OPS. And playing shortstop, shortstop for Double-A is currently Leo Balcazar, if I remember. If he's playing second base, mostly, I think, maybe.
It could be Leo or Dom Patelli.
It could be, yeah. Patelli, he did play a little Triple-A. He played that game in a spot start, so he could potentially move up, or even Leo could go up to Triple-A, and then you move Patelli over to second, and you put Sanchez at shortstop at Chattanooga. And then as far as catchers go in Double-A, you got Ryan McChrystal and a couple other guys. I think
there's a lot of guys at Chattanooga.
A lot of catchers in Chattanooga.
I mean, you also got to think about Connor Burns being on the 60-day IL there.
Yeah.
Diego Omana's there. They got Cade Hunter and then McChrystal. So, like, it's pretty full boat there. And McChrystal wasn't even catching, like, the first 5 games of his, like, Lookouts career. He was DHing for the most part. And then you got Rube Ibarra there at first base. So it's tough. It's tough to get playing time at Chattanooga right now.
Yeah, but they're going to have to do something, because I don't think you can contain him any longer. I think it's time to unleash him and just let him go, because I'm not saying he's going to be hit Cincinnati next year, but get him up to Double-A before the season ends and then see what he's got. And then, like, he's the number 1 prospect in the organization, and you don't want to limit him by, let's just say he plays the entire year in low A and high A, because then you're looking at a 21-year-old in Double-A, number 1 prospect in the organization. People might be like looking at him like they're looking at some other prospects, like Mike Sirota, we traded away to the Dodgers. 23 years old, still in high A. And, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's time. And same with Carlos Sanchez. He's a top 25 prospect. He's up there in the organization too. Yeah. I don't think he sticks at shortstop forever. Obviously, if he gets called up within the next 2 years, Ellie's still here. So you're probably going to look at third base with him, second base. I think outfield potentially, because he does have history in the outfield. Don't know how great he was because it was DSL. There wasn't a whole lot of stats when he got signed in 21, I think. So maybe they flirt with that and see what he does. You can never have too many outfielders, especially when you have a ton of infielders. So that could be in the cards. He's athletic enough. He could do it. Same with, it worked for Carlos Jorge. He's become one of the better defensive center fielders in minor league baseball. So Yeah, those two, I think they're ready to move up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just a matter of what you do with those guys ahead of him, and yeah, you got to make it work because he's the number one prospect for a reason. It's not just some fluky title they gave it to him or what have you. Yeah, it'd be interesting. This is where our expertise kind of goes to the wayside because we don't know what's going on in between the walls of their organization talking about this kind of stuff. We can speculate all we want, but this is kind of we see where they, put guys and promote guys and everything like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Connor Burns is activated off the 60 IL. Ricky, I don't want to break the news to you, but I think they just recently upgraded Ricky Cabrera's IL to full season. So he's not on the 60-day. He's going to miss another long stretch for him, which stinks because he was a guy with a lot of promise as well. Hopefully that's not the story for Connor Burns. That's not what I'm trying to suggest. We'd like to see Connor Burns back in a Lookouts uniform sooner than later. But, obviously he's got a major injury that he's coming back from, and hopefully he comes back from it sooner than later. But, yeah. Dayton's kind of an interesting spot because he will get playing time every day at catcher in Dayton, and he will get at bats against decent pitching. Obviously, I think there's a big jump from high A to double A, so you would want to get that for him. You'd want him to have that experience of going up against a higher caliber pitcher on a daily basis. But I don't know if the at bats are there right now if he goes to Chattanooga. As much as we like him as a hitter, he still maybe needs to work on his catching and receiving a little bit more. But he's been pretty consistent, I think, at Dayton so far this year. I haven't seen many egregious errors from him or pass balls or misplaying pitches for blocking and whatnot at Dayton so far this young season. But it's a good question what we're going to do with Duno this next half of the year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate you're going to hold. I mean, we saw it last year. You hold back a talent like that just because you have a plan. Sometimes plans are meant to be broken. And, I think Sal Stewart was kind of an example of that last year when he goes from Double-A to the majors in a season. He tears up Double-A, makes the futures team, dominates Triple-A, and then you had no doubt that he was ready for major leagues. And he comes up and he leads the team in home runs in his first month. And then we see him in April just being the best player on the team. And I'm not saying Duno does that next year. I'm not saying he goes from Double-A to the majors because obviously being a catcher, it's a whole lot different. You got to, you're not just hitting, you're learning a pitching staff and everything else like that. So there's a lot to it, but I don't think there's a whole lot more he can prove right now in Dayton other than receiving playing time every single day.
Yeah, true. That's very true. Last year at Daytona was his first full season of 120 plus games or whatever it was, plus playoffs or whatever they did down there in Daytona. It'll be interesting. We'll have to keep tabs on that and what the rumblings are and whatnot. Obviously, the fans are ready. Fans are ready to see him see Double-A pitching. But another guy I want to shout out before we move on with Dayton, Yerlin Confidant has been quietly playing real well, and you even profiled him in one of your articles at Reds on SI that I really liked. And I really wanted to shout him out because that was a guy that we kind of called out in the low A, high A preview way back when, in late March or right before April started. And he was a guy that looks like he has all the tools, plays left, center, and right field, has a decent arm in the outfield, but really hasn't been consistent hitting the ball. He's been pretty consistent this season. Like I think I mentioned he's like in the 290, 298, 300 range batting average wise. This week went 8 for 22. Hitting 364, but all singles, all singles. So no slugging there, but 6 RBIs, and it's kind of really, the knock against him is what he was like earlier in April and last year. He'd get like 4 RBIs one game, and then get no RBIs for like the next 5, and then like have 4 RBIs, and like he just have this really streakiness to him, and that happened in April as well. But it's been a little bit more consistent out of him in the last couple weeks in May. So shout out to Yerlin Confidant for kind of figuring it out this month.
Yeah, his batting average went up 100 points. He was 244 in April. He's at 354 in May. His slugging went up from 305 to 549. His OPS went from 649 to 962. And prior to Sunday's game, he was at 299 batting average for the season. So he's really done really well. He's still, I mean, yeah, he's in high A. You know, I wrote about that too. He's in high A at 23 years old, but his experience level, a lot of injuries throughout his career. He's only played in 100 games once, and he's only played in 90 games twice throughout his career. So it's really nice to see him. You can kind of see what he can do with a full season. And with the shortage of outfielders throughout Double-A and Triple-A, you know, it might be time to move him up and see what he can do in the outfield in Double-A, because I think there is a spot up there he could play. He's not going to play center because Jorge's in center field, but you know, if Jorge goes to Triple-A, you know, there's a spot in center for him. But I think he'll be a corner outfielder long term if he sticks around. But he's also somebody with his potential that he, you know, I don't want to speculate, but you could possibly move and get a decent player for him. He could be, because, you know, he's done fairly well. He's got 32 career home runs. He's a big guy. I didn't realize how big he was. 6'4", 225. You see a little Ellie in him, just not as fast. Just the way he kind of profiles as a person, just massive human being. But yeah, really glad to see him. And then last person I wanted to talk about on Dayton was Nestor Laurent. Just a good outing from him in that 22-run onslaught of Fort Wayne. He threw a lot of pitches. Only goes 4 2/3. I think he threw almost 100 pitches. 96 pitches, 62 were for strikes. He strikes out 7, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks. His ERA is now 3.10, so it's really good to see from him. He's someone that could possibly move up to Chattanooga also here fairly soon. He's 24. I'd like to see him move up fairly soon too, just to see what he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been pretty good this season. Pretty kind of quiet on the radar. I don't think we've talked about him too much on this show. So shout out to Nestor Laurent. He usually is a high strikeout guy. I feel like there's been some outings where he gets 7, 8, 9 strikeouts, which is great to see. Really, really nasty stuff. And I think he added a couple mile per hour, during spring training from last year to this year. So hopefully he's stronger and feeling a lot more confident going into the month of June for Mr. Laurent. But yeah, anything else about Dayton? All right, moving on. Chattanooga, like Louisville, had a bunch of rainouts and had to complete some games, suspend some games, try to do some 7-inning double headers at times. So they had a really kind of choppy week. They ended up playing 2 games on Sunday because of basically they had no ability to finish the game on Saturday night, and I think that happened also earlier in the week. So they end up kind of having a weird looking week, and they end up, I think, 2-4 on the week. Some decent performances, some guys that just weren't really performing as well. Their offense has kind of hit a little bit, stalled a little bit. They're not scoring as many runs as they did earlier in the season, and their pitching has been a little bit up and down as well. They had Nate Peterson get promoted to Triple-A because he had a really strong start to the year, but then struggled. Nate Peterson did in Triple-A, so he's back down with the Chattanooga Lookouts and started this week and looked a little shaky again. So hopefully he can get back on track this coming week. But there wasn't a lot of notes that I had taken down about Chattanooga, to be honest with you. Rube Ibarra had a couple home runs, big Rube. So that was good to see. He had a home run on Tuesday in their win, one of their 2 wins on the week. But what were your kind of takeaways from Chattanooga?
Yeah, a guy that's kind of been in the same boat as Austin Hendrick, Jay Allen. Really good to see. He only played 3 games this week, but he had a multi-hit game on the 21st, and then he went 1 for 5 on the 23rd. I think, did he have a injury this past week?
On Saturday, he crashed into the wall trying to rob a home run, got carted off. So it was real scary. Like Henley at least walked off on his own power. He did not. Took Sunday and Monday off and was back on Tuesday, I believe, is the situation. Or was that a suspended game? Yeah, that game
might have been.
Got picked up, I think, back on Wednesday. But yeah, you're right. He hit a home run or what have you and got back to it.
But he's had a good month of May. 309, 415, 545 with a 960 OPS. He's got 3 home runs for the month. 2 stolen bases. He's got 7 on the year. He's still really young too. He's just 23. He was the Reds' first round pick in 21 as a competitive balance pick. He was the 30th pick overall. I'd like to see him maybe potentially hit Triple-A sometime this year as well, because he's really struggled throughout his career to really get any real consistency going. He was an ACL guy in 2021, hits 328, 557 slug, 997 OPS. Goes up to Dayton midway through the year. Or no, he starts the year in Dayton or Daytona, 22. For some reason, the Reds were weird about their promotions, really with Hendrick and Allen, because Hendrick started out in Daytona. He didn't even play in the ACL, and he missed his first entire pro season. So like he didn't even get time in the ACL, so he went straight to low A. Kind of similar with Jay Allen. He plays 19 games in the ACL in 21. 22, he plays 73 games in Daytona, hits just 224 with a 691 OPS. Struck out 73 times in 241 at-bats. They promote him for some reason that season. Hits just 230 with the 598 OPS in Dayton. Kind of similar again in 23. He goes back down to the ACL, plays 6 games. I think there was an injury, if I remember right. And then he plays 25 games in Daytona again, or Dayton. So easy to mix those two up. Just missing a letter. Hits 154 for the Dragons, and then he plays in Dayton again. In 24, hits just 224 with a 717 OPS. And then 25, he plays in Chattanooga for his first season in Double-A, hits just 227, a 651 OPS. And, I wish they kind of would have just left him alone and let him just develop in the league like they have been doing here lately. It's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't with Reds here. You move a player up too fast or you don't move them up quick enough. But I feel like they maybe kind of rushed him and Hendrick both up through the organization, which is kind of probably why we saw Hendrick play 2-3 straight years starting the year out in Double-A. And same with Jay Allen. This is the second straight year starting the year in Double-A. And it's really nice to see him start to perform there. So maybe he plays the entire season in Double-A, and the next year we get some Triple-A time from him, because I think he's getting pretty close to being I know he's Rule 5 eligible with his time. He's been in the organization since 2021. So next year will be his 6th year in the organization. So there's going to be some decisions to make with him. I don't think he gets added to the 40-man or anything like that, but maybe he's one of those minor league guys that gets picked up in the minor league portion if they don't decide to hold on to him that way. I'd like to see him reach Triple-A, maybe at the end of the year. Get him up there in like late August or something. See what he can do. Just get his feet wet. But I want to see him play the majority of the year in Double-A. But he's looked really good so far, and really excited for him to finally flash some potential that they saw to take him in the first round.
Yeah, I misspoke. Jalen actually missed a couple days. He came back, I think, Thursday. So he took like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off to recover. It looks like he's good because he homered the first game he got back. So hopefully he'll be back on track, and maybe, shook him up a little bit, but he'll be okay. Yeah, and there was some struggling from Double-A. Jose Acuna, I think I praised on the show a week ago or maybe a couple weeks ago. He kind of struggled. He only lasted 4 innings, 6 earned runs, 2 homers against in the loss on Wednesday, which I was kind of hoping he could be a possible Triple-A candidate if he kept performing well. Maybe this is just a little bump in the road for that because he had a really good 2025, I believe, was really performing well at Chattanooga last year and possibly was, a candidate last year to be a Triple-A, starting out Triple-A this year, but started back out with the lookouts and hopefully he'll bounce back after this start and get back to it so that, maybe we'll see him at Triple-A by the end of the year.
Yeah, and then I guess the last 2 things I kind of want to talk about with Double-A is Ruben Ibarra hit that mammoth home run on Saturday, 461 feet, just absolute nuke. And then Jonathan Harmon, rain-shortened game, only pitches 3 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. It's really nice to see him having some success coming off of Tommy John and what he played in like a month or 2 last year. Got some fall league time, pitched pretty well. Friend of the show, great dude overall. Check out our interview with him. He was, I'll say it every time, he's a fantastic dude. Just a character of a human being. I love his energy, and he's infectious. He's a awesome guy, and it was really nice to see him have a good outing. Shortened, but he's had a pretty decent run of things. I know I think his last time out, I think he finished the game off, or it was his last out that he had. He was just just awesome. Yeah. Just great energy from him.
Yeah, I think he pitched like the last 5 innings and earned the win because of the way that worked.
That's right. Yeah,
it was like a piggyback start that they like to do in the minors type of thing. So and yeah, good old boy from Louisiana, can spin a story and all that good stuff. So he's
great.
He's fun. But yeah, that's Chattanooga. Hopefully a better week from Chattanooga. They've been a bit struggling. They started out the year being just they couldn't lose, right? Like they were like 17-1 or 16-1 or something like that, and they rolled over a bunch of teams. But they've been kind of struggling as of late. It could be a myriad of factors: promotions, guys struggling, injuries, what have you. But hopefully they get back on track next week and get it going. Leo Balcazar's kind of cooled off a little bit since a hot start in the season, but a lot more baseball to play there in Chattanooga. But we'll move it on to Louisville. And Louisville, like I said, with Chattanooga, had a bunch of rainouts, shortened games, suspended, play the rest of the game the next day, double headers, 7-inning double headers and whatnot. They only played 5 games because today they were supposed to play a game, or Sunday they were supposed to play a game, and they got canceled because they figured we're not going to do like a makeup or what have you. It's Sunday. Monday's the off day for all minor league teams. So they were just like, forget it. So they went 2-3 on the week and had some okay performances. Some guys that probably, if we had more games to play, may have had some more decent numbers, right? Because some guys played like 3 or 4 games that week. So they didn't have 2 outstanding numbers. But like Edwin Arroyo and Marte have been consistent, to say the least. And their numbers have been pretty gaudy. I think they're like both hitting above 340, 350. They're in that range, which is pretty good. And both of those guys deserve an opportunity, I think, at the major league level. We know Marte's had his chances, but, Edwin Arroyo is a guy that they may be a little bit more careful with calling up because it'll be his debut. And you don't want to have a guy that is probably the 3rd or 2nd best prospect in the system not playing every day. So there is a kind of a conundrum with the Edwin Arroyo stuff. Marte, if there's an injury in the outfield, I think he'll be able to be slotted in there. And has been playing a lot more center field, Ricky. Like this week, at least 3 or 4 of the games that he played in was starting in center field for your Louisville Bats. But where do you want to start with the Louisville Bats?
I think we all know where I'm going to start with this.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Michael Toglia has been a pleasant surprise for the Reds organization. that's not what I wanted to start with, but I will start with Michael Toglia because I think he deserves his flowers. I unintentionally not really kind of threw some shade at him when the Reds didn't get Kyle Schwarber. And I said, oh, we're going to go out and get somebody like Michael Toglia now. And we did. And, while the 247 batting average doesn't scream at you, the 859 OPS does, and the 10 home runs do. So he has been fairly consistent in Triple-A. He switch hitter, plays first base, plays the outfield. I kind of wrote about him too with the other two guys I profiled in that SI article. If there's an injury to a Suarez or Nathaniel Lowe or a Spencer Steer or a Will Benson or a Blake Dunn or somebody like that, and Marte's already up there and Friedel still is slumping, like Michael Toglia could be somebody that could come up, and he's not going to set the world on fire, but he could give you a decent power presence towards the bottom of the order. He's, like I said, he's a switch hitter, has really good pop. He had 25 home runs in 2024. So he's kind of in that same boat as JJ Bleday, to where obviously Bleday really set the world on fire and dominated Triple-A. And he's played very well at the major league level this year. I'm not saying Toglia does that, but if he, let's just say he has 25 home runs in Triple-A in August, and there's a late season injury or a couple injuries or, out of contention, something like that happens, he could be a guy that you could bring up and just see what he has. And then it doesn't hurt. Just really good stuff from him. And then obviously Austin Hendrick. I'm going to talk about Austin Hendrick.
Clip it.
Hitting 286 in his short Triple-A run. I'm just happy for him, man. I really am. He hits a mammoth home run in his first home run for Triple-A. 391 feet, 106 off the bat. Cleared the scoreboard. I don't know how the distance measures up on that. I don't know how good Hawkeye tracking is compared to StatCast, but just a towering shot from him. Michael Tolia's home run goes 414 feet at 106.8 off the bat. Just really good stuff from Hendrick. I'm really happy to see him, and he's looks very well defensively too. His debut, he made a nice sliding catch. That's one thing we can say about him. He's a really good defender. He moves pretty well for his size. Got a pretty good arm. If you heard it in the intro, there's a diving catch from him in the intro that I clipped up in there. And then Noelvi Marte just continues 7 home runs this season in Triple-A. His went 433 feet. Just a nuke from him. And just really excited for Austin Hendrick. Finally getting, after all these years, Triple-A at bats, and 286, 813 OPS in his short little stint in Triple-A so far. And who knows, man, if he keeps that up, he's in Triple-A already. You never know.
Step away, yeah. And like you said, he's hitting pretty well. 286 already in the 5 games he's played at Triple-A this season. Not too shabby. And we talked about this a little bit. He's going to get playing time because they got 10 or 11 field players, on the roster at the moment. So, there's opportunities for him to play every single day, which is what you want, right? You don't want him to go up to Triple-A just to sit around and not get at bats. And I forgot also this performance, big lefty, the same day that Hendrick hit his home run, Brandon Leibrandt, 6 innings, 2 hits in that doubleheader 7th inning thing. So he went 6 of the 7 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs. So great stuff out of him for the Triple-A Louisville Bats. But they just had just a weird week, suspending games and stuff like that. It was hard to kind of keep up with the Louisville Bats because you're like, one point they're like, oh, now we're going to start this game at 5 o'clock, and then the next game starts at 7. And it was tough to follow for me. This rain is getting to be too much. Hopefully we get.
I wanted to say this too. We were talking about Arroyo a little bit about not getting playing time. The easiest fix for that is to send Matt McClain down to Triple-A. He's hitting just 139 in his last 7, 214 in his last 30. He's slugging 276 in the last 7. Hasn't looked great. He goes 0 for 5 in one game of the doubleheader. He didn't play in the second game. 2 strikeouts. Goes 0 for 5 in the finale against Philadelphia. Goes 0 for 5 in game 2 of the finale at Philadelphia. He, for the month of May, is hitting just 202. And his month of May is 188. His season is 202. So I want to see some. Matt McClain has just been a disappointment. And I think with Arroyo getting a lot of playing time at second base and third base, well, he's only played 3 games at third base, but he's played his fair share at second base. I could get the number here. He has played 15 games at second base, 119 innings. And he has just 1 error. So, that to me is probably the easiest fix. You send McClain down, let him get right, bring Arroyo up. He gets everyday playing time, and it's Arroyo's job to lose at that point.
Yeah, easy. Sounds easy to you, but I think the organization and Tito value the defense of McClain over Arroyo at this point. It probably is a Matt McClain injury away from an Edwin Arroyo call-up. You know what I mean? He's been pretty healthy. There hasn't been any issues with his shoulder or anything like that, or any other lingering things that McClain has had over the years. But, yeah, I think that might be the way that you see Edwin Arroyo up in Cincinnati, because even if McClain, I don't know, they won't do it with Spencer Steer. They won't option him down. They probably won't option TJ Friedel down. They probably won't option Matt McClain down. They just got some sort of weird thing where they just have a couple guys that just either talk themselves out of like being sent down by having a couple good games, having some great defense or something. I don't know. There's something going on there. I don't know. Another option, Edwin Arroyo's played third a couple times. He can play third base on the other side with Ellie potentially. Yeah. Not saying that's a full-time option type thing, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound like he has a everyday job at the major league level right now, which is why Edwin Arroyo is still at Louisville. That's my read on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much longer you let Matt McClain struggle. It's been well over a season now, and it'd be different, but he's making contact, and it hasn't been great. His zone swing percentage is at 62%. He's not chasing a whole lot, just 23% chase rate. His zone contact percentage is 86%. His overall contact percentage is 78%. He's swinging at strikes. He's not swinging at balls. It's just whatever it is, his exit velocity just isn't what we had hoped, and everything else just overall. I'll pull up his StatCast numbers. Yeah, I mean, everything's in blue basically. Hard hit percentage, 28th percentile. His sweet spot's up there at 71st percentile, a 36% sweet spot. He's not chasing 87th percentile in the chase rate. He's not striking out a ton, 23%. It's not great, but it's not terrible. He's right around league average with that. He's walking decently. He's a +3 outs above average at second base, 88th percentile in that. He's fast. He's in the 87th percentile in sprint speed. Like, it's just his batting run values in the 18th percentile. His base running values in the 8th percentile at -1. His fielding run value is at +3, like we talked about. Exit velocities in the 31st percentile. Expected slugging is in the 40th percentile. His expected batting average. So even his expected stats aren't really that great. Can't really call it unlucky at this point. He's just, I don't know. I think we got fool's gold in 23 where he just came up and just hit. And then maybe it was the injury that, he just changed his swing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But Arroyo, he's ready. I mean, he's only played, 48 games at Triple-A in his career. How many games did Sal Stewart play in Triple-A last year?
Maybe about that same number, I would say.
It's time.
So, yeah.
And his power's up. His power, he's already at 10 home runs, and the doubles and the triples are there. That was a point of emphasis for him during the offseason, and he's delivered. So he's made some adjustments, and I just think he's ready.
Yeah, that's the Matt McClain argument that we probably should be throwing out there more and more, is that, okay, so both of them had injuries with their shoulder, right? McClain in 23, Edwin Arroyo in 22 or 23.
They were both during spring training in 24.
Okay. So
because McClain missed the end of 23 with an oblique, goes into spring training, and then has the shoulder injury and required surgery. Same with Arroyo. He goes into spring training, tears up his shoulder, has surgery. Both of them missed the entire 24 season. But here's the thing, Arroyo hit in Double-A last year, just not for power. He hit 282. He had good hitting numbers. The power wasn't there. And he's made the adjustment to get more loft on his swing, and here he is. He's doing it. And McClain, for whatever reason, he's got a couple home runs, but he's just not hitting the ball where they ain't or over the fence, really. And he's excellent defensively, but Arroyo is known for his glove. So, I just don't know what they do. I mean, I get it. You kind of want to see a guy slump, but we're 2 months in Triple-A and he hasn't slumped. He's just good.
Yeah. That's to me is the difference, is that McClain, you think after the whole year sitting out in 24, 25 is the rebuild year to get kind of back on track. Obviously struggled a lot. This year is where hopefully, boom, the power comes back. It really has not. And that's disappointing, and probably why it's getting louder and louder for people calling on Edwin Arroyo to be the next guy up. And
McClain's having a worse year this year than he did last year. He was a 220 hitter last year, 643 OPS. He's at 202 this year, 634 OPS. And he's got 5 home runs, but he had 15 last year. He had 16 this rookie year. I don't know how much longer. I mean, I get it. I understand the defensive side of it. But we're acting like we're putting Eugenio Suarez or Sal Stewart at second base when Arroyo is kind of touted as a major league ready glove already at shortstop. And McClain was a shortstop that moved to second base. He got called up. And, I just think, and who's to say, let's just say you bring him up and Arroyo struggles at the major league level, and McClain figures it out in Triple-A. That's a win both ways, because you can just send Arroyo back down, let him hit at the Triple-A level again, and then you got McClain somewhat back. And, eventually you just move Arroyo to third when he's ready to come back up.
Yeah. Sounds easy. Let's do it.
I'm not paid enough to do that. There's guys, Nick Kroll and Brad Meador, they know what they're doing to a degree, and some would say they don't, but I think they do, and they'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, and if we want to put on the real cynical tinfoil hat, maybe they're waiting until mid-June where they're talking about service time for Mr. Edwin Arroyo.
I hope it's not a case to where they tank McClain's value so much where he's a cash considerations player.
A lot of people have been making that joke with the Reese Hines trade. lot of people are not in that joke. Maybe they're serious. Maybe they're like, oh boy, could this
Because
be?
with McClain, he's already 26,
Yeah.
and he's a smaller player already. He's at his physical peak basically right now, coming back from surgery. And I don't know. Arroyo's still 22, 23, I think he's 22. You have I think you have a better future with Arroyo too. And maybe they're just waiting to see, let him slump and to see if he can bounce back. And, sometimes they don't, which is what we're seeing from Matt McClain. He's been slumping for well over a year and 3 months now and hasn't had a hot streak since.
Well, who did have a bounce back? Our prospect of the week. He had been a guy that has been struggling a little bit pitching-wise, but this week he had his best outing of the Daytona Tortuga season. We're talking about the number 11, number 10 prospect, Sheng-En Lin, had pitched a gem on Saturday night, going 6 innings, 6 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And like I said, that's the best performance that he's had this year going into the 6th inning. Basically, he had not gone into the 5th inning except for his second start of the season way back at the beginning of April. So this is some good stuff out of him because he had been really kind of struggling with his command, lots of walks, sometimes more walks than strikeouts. Like in his last outing, he went 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, only lasted 3 2/3 innings against the Palm Beach Cardinals. So it's great to see him get back on top of them. They're really making him pitch only this season. And I think you had mentioned they kind of alternate sometimes every other year, but it seems like they are really honing in Sheng-En Lin to be only a pitcher going forward for this organization. And if he can repeat this kind of performance going forward more often, I think they're making the right call. But what are your thoughts about Mr. Sheng-En Lin?
Yeah, he looked great. 6 innings, 6 hits, no walks, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. I think the velocity might be coming back a little bit too for him. He's had the ability to hit the mid to upper 90s, 96, 97. He's been in like the low 90s so far. Yeah. Like you did say, they're getting away from that two-way player aspect from him and really focusing on pitching going forward. And he's a smaller frame pitcher. He's 5'11", 185 pounds. I'd like to see him kind of bulk up just a little bit to get more velocity. I'm sure that'll be a point of emphasis in the offseason. Still just 20 years old. Signed in 2023 for $1.2 million out of Taiwan. I think he just pitched on their I don't think it was their World Baseball Classic team, but I think he pitched on their like all-star team or whatever it was for Taiwan, and he was kind of like one of their aces on the pitching staff, and he's got a really good ability to throw strikes, and he's pretty repetitive in his delivery. So I'm really happy to see him kind of flash the potential that he has. And I was wrong. He's the 9th prospect in the organization. He's top 10. So really good to see him. I think they might have just updated that here recently, but really good stuff from him. And I'm really happy to see him putting a great outing out there on Saturday with Bryce Archie combining with I think it was like a 8-hit shutout or something like that.
Yeah. I checked in with Matthew Monsi about Sheng-En Lin's performance, and he said he was filthy. He had great stuff. A lot of his whiffs on Saturday night were on his off speed, his changeup. 15 whiffs on 14 changeup pitches. So like that seemed to be like his out pitch, or at least a pitch to get guys chasing. So that seemed to be a good way to go about changing it up on the guys and mixing in the speeds and pitches and what have you, especially if his velocity is not back to where it was at one point. It's good to have a secondary pitch, a changeup, or to be able to get guys out, get guys to swing and miss. So really good performance out of Sheng-En Lin. Been kind of a long time coming. We were really hoping a lot for this guy, especially when he was down at the ACL level, doing pretty pretty well last season, 2025 ACL, but hasn't really been lighting the world on fire since he's been in Daytona. And glad to see he's got at least this under his belt. Hopefully he can continue and get more, confidence from this start.
Yeah, it was just really good to see. He could potentially see himself on a promotion towards the end of the season when the rosters kind of, I don't want to say expand, just kind of move around with the ACL season ending in July. So it'll be, maybe he sees himself in Dayton towards the end of the season, and then can really showcase himself more to some Reds fans that could actually get to a Dayton game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's kind of a lesser known prospect other than his ability that he had to basically, be a two-way player. And that's it'll be interesting to see his career path going forward after this. It would appear that he's going to be focusing mostly on just pitching. And yeah, he's a little bit smaller of a guy, so hopefully he can kind of beef up and get a little bit more his velocity back up. So hopefully that'll be something we'll be talking about soon. Yeah. Anything else about Sheng-En Lin?
No, just great to see him flash his potential like he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we need a little bit more of that. And that's kind of the thing with Daytona. A lot of those guys flash potential, but really Jacob Friend's the only guy that's been really consistently, performing since the start of the affiliate ball in early April. So yeah, all right. That is our prospect of the week, Sheng-En Lin. Shout out to him. And that brings us to the end of our show. Ricky, do you have any pieces coming out on minor leaguers this coming week?
Nothing in the pike just yet. I'll cover some news as they go down. We'll look for some promotions, hopefully. I have a feeling, I have no inside information on this whatsoever, but just with the amount of injuries and everything, I could see Jacob Friend moving up to Dayton this week. I think he's got nothing left to prove down in Daytona. He plays all over the field. He could slide right into Dayton and catch on off days for Duno. He could play first base for whoever's at first base that day and give them a break. He could play in the outfield. He could play all three outfield spots. And I could see him getting up there fairly soon. And if that's the case, I think we could see Hervin Murillo. I don't say this week, but fairly soon getting up to Daytona. But yeah, I'll cover some news as it comes along. And I want to see the Red Legs have some success. Yesterday's show was nice having the series win in Philadelphia, but we split the doubleheader on Saturday and, the rain out here and everything else. And I guess we talk a little bit more about the ticket giveaway. We'll have the post posted on our social medias. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on Twitter. If you don't have Facebook or Twitter and you have Instagram, just shoot us a DM with the screenshot of you subscribed, and I'll enter you in. It's really easy to do. Just screenshot you're subscribed to our YouTube page, and you'll be entered into that. And that's a really cool bobblehead. I might try to get down there that day if I have the availability to get down there, just to go get that bobblehead and leave if I have to. But I don't like being that kind of fan. If I go to the game, I want to go to the game, but that's a cool bobblehead. And really, really good to see Suarez back in a Reds uniform too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not just as some sort of retirement bobblehead or something like that.
Yeah. Reds Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He's going to be actually in the game, hopefully that day, killing the Brewers, hopefully making that in-division record a little bit more palatable to talk about than what it is currently at the moment. But yeah, check that out. Really appreciate everyone that follows us. We really want to keep growing and keep moving onward and upward with this product for you. Subscribe. We're trying to get up to that 200 subscribers on YouTube, so this is one way you could do it. We really appreciate you all. And until next time, go Reds.
Go Reds.